Ooh, what's the crinkle?
And we're live. Welcome to Pressing for Flight.
Press for who?
For flight. Well, there's a good place to start. What the F does pressing for flight mean? That is a phrase that you commonly hear. I know for the Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy. Do they say it for like Delta 4 and Atlas 5? Do you remember if they say that like on the stream, pressing for flight? Because it's always like right before launch on Falcon 9, Falcon Heavy, like Falcon 9 is pressing for flight. It's that guy with the real deep voice. Falcon
That's a
9.
good question. I don't think I've ever paid that much attention, to be honest with you. I think I was more excited about, all right, let's do this. You know what I mean?
Well, I spent several years watching from the stream. I could only watch the stream from Tennessee. Yeah, so
Gotcha.
I guess I kind of got used to hearing all the. Yeah, it's that guy. Falcon 9 is pressing for flight.
Well, if you Google it, one thing comes up is pressing your flight attendant's buttons. Never mind.
Yeah, good. So we don't have to worry about the phrase being taken for like social media stuff. That's kind of nice.
The very first one does come up as only from SpaceX.
So
They've used
yeah,
it 1,000 times.
it's just a name, you know. When you're trying to start something, you have to name it something, and
Gotta.
you have to. You can't
Gotta.
you can't just be like stream. We're the Space Coast stream. So we're all Space Coast locals. As of a couple of months, you know, we weren't all Space Coast locals. My name is Steve Marr. Friends call me Steve-O, but you don't have to.
You're
Uh,
gonna.
Mm.
Along with me, I have Matt Cutshaw. He started the organization Next Horizon Spaceflight, who I also shoot under, do the pad shots with him and help him cover all kinds of space stuff. We post to the Facebook page and Twitter. Facebook, just look for Next Horizon Spaceflight. And on Twitter, it's next underscore horizons. Or no, it's
No,
Next Horizons underscore.
that's
So you,
right.
so you shoot at pads? That'd be illegal.
Shoot it. Yeah.
It was kind of big, but photographs.
That person there, that's Mr. Stephen Kegel. He's lived
Yeah.
here a long time.
Just about all my life
Yeah.
since the mid '80s. I was
And,
born in Fort Lauderdale, and then
and the most recent addition to the Space Coast that we know of, Miss Becca Penland. Sup?
Hello.
Yeah, she moved here a couple months ago after much nagging from my roommate and I. And she visited a few times and decided she loved it because it's awesome.
Good choice.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm having a great time.
Cocoa Beach
It's
is
awesome.
awesome.
So much stuff to do. Disney, Universal, lots and lots of rocket launches.
All the rocket launches.
and the beach.
Oh, all the rocket launches. Play Linda Beach, where you can play on the beach right next to the rocket pads.
Or you
Yeah.
go down the end and you might see.
Oh, no, we don't go to that end. No, we don't go to that end. We stop at 13. We don't go to 13.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, we stop at 12. If there is a 12, I assume there's a 12, but
No, you don't go to 13.
don't go to 13 unless you want to go to 13.
Ooh, you're going to see some stuff if you go to 13. You can see a different kind of rocket.
Yeah, so this is just kind of our first show, and I thought it would be good to go around, do a little round robin, and why space? Why not football?
Oh, man.
Why are you into space and not football?
Because everybody is into football, but space. See, okay, one of the reasons
Take it
why
away.
I decided to start Next Horizon Spaceflight is because there's a lot of people, like your average Joe, you know, who lives down the road or whatever, has no idea what's going on in the space community.
They
Has
thought
no
that
idea.
the
What's SpaceX? I have no idea what that is. You know what I mean?
they're the same people that thought NASA shut down whenever the shuttle stopped flying.
Right. So the
Or
same
still
people
say, hey,
who
did you see that shuttle launch last week?
exactly. So every single time they hear about a rocket launch, they think is like, oh, it's just are they launching astronauts to outer space? Are they launching a shuttle? No, sir. Pause one moment. Let me break it down for you. You know what I mean? That's why Next Horizons is a good resource because it gives them that knowledge. Like, hey, this is what's going on. It's actually a Falcon 9. It's taking this payload into lower Earth orbit or higher Earth orbit or whatever. It's going to be they're going to try to land the booster. They're not going to try to land the booster. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They're going
It's
to try to land 3 boosters.
they haven't gotten that yet.
I think it's a
Trying.
lot of people really don't have a concept of just how much stuff is going on in space. There's more going on in
man.
space than ever before. And,
That's right.
And I think the common misconception is that that it's mostly over. Like that NASA hasn't done anything, and then they don't even know that there's a bunch of private companies doing stuff. There's private companies putting stuff on the moon or trying to, and we can talk about tardigrades too if you want.
They're on the moon.
yeah, we got tardigrades on the moon, y'all. Yeah,
They
okay,
ran
but
rockets into the moon.
okay, so but why? Like what drew us into space? And I can play a clip of something that will
Let's do that.
that will kind of spell out what hooked me, because for a lot of years I've always been interested in space. When I was a kid, I liked seeing pictures of Saturn, and and I didn't even know what they came from. I'm sure it was from Voyager or something, and I thought that was neat that there's this other world that could be visited by people. You know, I was one of these kids, which I think a lot of people can relate, you know, where I enjoyed just exploring, even if it was a place like I would treat every new place to me, like if I'm out with my friends, you know, like this was some place that had never been explored before. Like I remember in this neighborhood I used to live in Auburndale, Florida. It's right in the middle of the state. We had this on the back side of our neighborhood. There was this big area of land that I guess had just never been bought, and you know, it'd been overgrown. The grass was really tall, and me and my friends would go out there, and we treated it like it was our, like we found this, like this was our place. And then like years later, they came in and started building houses. We got really mad about it because this is, how dare they come and build on our land? You know, we just got so into exploring, and every new place to us was.
So you felt like
new
how
to
the Indians
everybody.
felt from Columbus.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, go and or maybe I felt like Columbus. I'm not sure.
No, because they took your land.
So yeah, I've always been into the exploration stuff, but for a lot of years it was very marginal, you know. And I would always watch documentaries about different things, and this series Cosmos, which if you happen to stumble across this, you've probably heard of it, because yeah, I think most people that's going to stumble across this are probably space fans to some degree, and they probably have seen Cosmos, and it might have something to do with why they're into it. Carl Sagan is a big influence on a lot of people that are into space.
Fox did that reboot with
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah, that was good.
It's good, but it's not the same. So I'm going to play the first words of this series that got me hooked right here.
The cosmos is all that is, or ever was, or ever will be. Our contemplations of the cosmos stir us. There's a tingling in the spine, a catch in the voice, a faint sensation as if a distant memory of falling from a great height. We know we are approaching the grandest of mysteries. The size and age of the cosmos are beyond ordinary human understanding. Lost somewhere between immensity and eternity is our tiny planetary home, the Earth. For the first time, we have the power to decide the fate of our planet and ourselves. This is a time of great danger, but our species is young and curious and brave. It shows much promise. In the last few millennia, we have made the most astonishing and unexpected discoveries about the cosmos and our place within it. I believe our future depends powerfully on how well we understand this cosmos in which we float like a mote of dust in the morning sky.
And that's it.
Fly Pelican.
I was hooked. I was totally in when I heard that. I was like, yes, that's absolutely right. You know, it made me feel like, you know, yeah, humans, like we have this opportunity and responsibility to kind of understand where we are, and with that understanding, what we can do with it. and around that same time was when I heard of SpaceX. And I think it was because they had just sent the first Dragon capsule, not even to the space station, but into orbit. And I started reading into them, and like they're the first private company to send anything into orbit. And that wasn't their first try. Their first try, or their first success, was with Falcon 1. But this was the first time that that a private company had put a capsule capable of carrying cargo to the space station up into orbit. And I thought, well, that's really neat. And obviously, started looking more into it and found out who Elon Musk was. And I'm not sure if that first TED Talk was out yet. Do you guys remember that? Did you ever watch that first TED Talk where the guy was interviewing Elon, and he was kind of talking about, why he got into space? And it was because he had really all he wanted to do was inspire people to give money to NASA, give more money to NASA. He was like, he was trying to figure out, well, why are we, like, what are we doing with Mars? Are we going to Mars? Is that in the plans? And he says that he went to the NASA website and was expecting to find where the Mars plans were, and there was nothing, And so he thought, well, maybe they need more money. So what I could do to contribute, because he had recently sold PayPal to eBay, and his portion of that sale was quite substantial. So he had a bunch of money, and he was going to buy an ICBM, that's an intercontinental ballistic missile from Russia. And he was going to put a little tiny greenhouse on it and shoot it up to Mars and landed on Mars, and it was going to have little green plants in there and a little camera to take a picture of it. And he thought, maybe if I could be successful with this, I could land this little tiny greenhouse, and the people on Earth would see that, and they might be inspired to do more. And then maybe the ball would roll, and politicians would vote to give NASA more money to do more with that. Well, what ended up happening was the Russians wanted to charge him too much, and he decided that the only way he was going to be able to do it was to start his own rocket company.
Oh, and he did.
And I'm kind of getting off the topic where I was going. The point that really stood out to me was that, and people kind of give him a lot of crap about his doomsday sort of perspective, and it's not that he sees it that way, but you cannot deny that something will eventually happen to not necessarily wipe us out, but slow us down or set us back. And
it could be pollution, it could be a meteor,
it could be politics, it could be war, it could be anything. And we have this window of opportunity where we are capable of building these launch vehicles, and hopefully bigger launch vehicles, and get people off the planet and living, whether it's on the moon or Mars or wherever, but get people comfortable living off the planet, so that when that eventuality happens, we'll at least have a backup, or we'll have the infrastructure already in place, so that, hell, maybe these people that are living in space will be able to come and help out the people that are on Earth because they just got messed up by something, So it was that window of opportunity that kind of made me see the urgency, and and then you start watching rocket launches, and especially when you're following a company like SpaceX, and it's not hard to be excited about it because they are constantly innovating. There's always something coming down the road that they're trying to do, and of course it was the landing of the boosters, and that was just like somebody was talking about it on Twitter. I think it was Richard Engel. He posed the question: what was better, the Starhopper hop the other day, or the first landing of the Falcon 9? And it was like, it's like definitely first landing of the Falcon 9. I mean, I was still in Tennessee at the time, and I remember that day I got off just in time to make it home and watch that stream. And when that happened, man, I feel for my neighbors. It was like the Super Bowl was happening, and it was on December 21st, or I'm pretty sure it was December 21st, and I'm yelling so loud, and I'm the only one in my apartment. And Yeah,
Like,
it's
what are you
just
yelling at?
yeah, it's just so now that I'm in, it's like it's so obvious. Like, of course, this stuff's so exciting. But that's kind of what hooked me in was kind of just like the inspiration and hope of future stuff that humans could be doing rather than just continuing on, step by step of doing the same thing every day and maybe, gradual improvements to technology and stuff, but nothing that's really inspiring. Like maybe someday we can all live in space. Not all of us, not everybody wants to, but whoever wants to can live and work in space.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
Me too. I'll go.
I'm down. I'll go to Mars. I'll be the first one to volunteer, even though I'm a dad. I'll
Yeah.
still go. Like, sorry, boy, Daddy got
Oh,
to go do something, man.
Right, right. Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
wait a few years after they do it a few times.
Like my dad was the first one to step foot on Mars.
Mm. Yeah, I'm
Had
not sure I'd want to be the first. I'm of the ilk that's like I would go when they have some level of infrastructure in place because I don't think I have any skills to contribute to like the first crews that go.
the first crew would just be stepping
You can
foot
take
on and checking
photographs.
everything
I mean,
else.
I could take
Yeah,
photographs. Sure, I'll go as a
Mhm.
photographer.
You got to document.
the first cannon on Mars.
So Kegel, I think you're kind of in an interesting position. Well, actually, Matt, I don't even know. Are you from here originally?
No, actually born in California,
Okay.
raised in Oklahoma, now here in Florida. So I kind of gone across the whole United States.
All right. Well, then let's hear from you. How long have you lived here, and how come you got into the space stuff?
And I've been here since '04, I believe it was. Yeah, '04. Well, I mean, back home in Oklahoma, it's flat. There's really not too much going on there.
I've been
I
through
mean,
there.
right. So there's not much. There's really nothing I make. Our Saturday nights, you cruise up and down the road, or you go hang out you go walk around Walmart.
You either lived
Literally,
in Tulsa or you lived in nowhere. Right.
like Lawton Fort Still is a military base town.
Okay.
So
All right.
not really too much going on. So, kind of always been, in and out of it. But back then, there really wasn't nothing going on. Yeah, there was the shuttles, you know what I mean? But, I mean, yeah, the shuttles are great. Don't get me wrong. The shuttles are awesome. Shuttle missions are great. We're sending astronauts to the International Space Station. But it's definitely not as exciting as what we got going on right now.
A quick question: any of you three seen a shuttle launch?
No,
Oh, okay. Oh,
I
man.
wish.
That
Never
sucks.
did.
That would have been
Yep.
awesome. But
It's
no,
a hell of an experience.
I'm sure it was,
Yeah.
especially with those freaking boosters, man. Ooh,
Sorry, I was just wondering if anyone had seen one.
no.
Yeah. We'll get to you, Kegel, and your
I
shuttle
was
shuttle
curious.
viewing experiences.
I'm learning something.
Actually, believe it or not, so I moved here, and then I've slowly started getting into it. Started doing a lot of stuff with the space hipsters and whatnot. And actually, my very first launch here was actually I was attending the NASA social, and was doing the Parker Solar Probe
Uh-huh.
social,
Wow,
and
that's
that
pretty
was
recent, man. Wow,
yeah,
I didn't
man,
realize it was that recent that you got into
yeah.
it. Okay.
I mean, I've been following this since I was a kid, but my
Yeah.
first actual launch, like seeing it in person, was Parker Solar Probe.
Right.
So what was really actually really great about that social is that so my son was there at the hotel. He was staying there with my mom. She was watching him while I went to go do my NASA thing, and I had called her and said, hey, the launch is about to go up. It's the Parker Solar Probe. It's Delta Heavy. It's got a huge rocket. It's going to make lots of noise. Going to be lots of light in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
I want my son Travis. That's his name, Travis. I want him to be outside. And I want him to check it out. So she brought him out from the hotel. They checked it out. But the reason why this launch will always hold a special place in my heart is because me and his names were both on the Parker Solar
Oh,
Probe.
nice.
So we both got to watch our names get launched into space.
Very cool. And go touch
He's
the
only
sun.
6 years old. Exactly. You know what I mean? So because of that, it will always hold a special place in my heart. And I've seen several launches. He was with me to DM1 and whatnot. So, we've seen several launches, but never will ever come close to Parker Solar Probe, man. But I've been into it for a while, but that was my first actual like in person, like seeing it, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
launch. Because back in the day, they didn't really cover At least not that I saw. They didn't really cover shuttle launches too much like they do now because technology just wasn't what it is today. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
So
They had NASA TV, but it wasn't as easy to get, and it wasn't.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it wasn't really hard to come by. It's not like, Facebook Live and like social media is big now. And because social media is big, you can access anything and everything space related.
right.
I mean, you're talking, I grew up on the Oregon Trail. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, you know what I mean?
getting
Like that,
typhoid every other day.
you know what I mean? You died
you
of
broke
dysphoria.
you broke a wagon wheel again.
Caulk the wagon, float across.
Right,
No.
exactly. Like internet was just coming up, in a way, so I didn't have really access to all that good stuff.
Mhm.
So
And
I'm glad.
I'll be honest, NASA wasn't very good, and they're getting better, but
Yeah,
they haven't been very good at making things exciting. And I think that maybe has to do with like they don't want to build something up too much and then have a failure. I think
right,
they're so worried about going overboard with the hype and then there being a
right.
failure.
Well, that's why they do the NASA socials, is because they're hoping people who are big on social media with all the followings, you know what I mean, that they'll be able to do that. So, for instance, when I attended the NASA social, I actually attended that under my dad group that I run, a bunch of dads.
Oh yeah,
That wasn't even anything space related. That was just because like they were like, "Hey, you have a huge following," you know what I mean? On social media, on Facebook particularly, come on, we're gonna invite you to come on, and it was awesome. But that's what they're doing. So you'll have people who run a dad group like me, or you'll people who's doing a cooking page or whatever. They're trying to get their reach out there because people who are really into the space stuff like we are, you know what I mean, where it's only so limited, but that's again why I'm trying to take Next Horizons to the next level to reach more people. But
right.
that's
Well,
that's
it's working.
yeah, that is true. Yeah, it's doing pretty well.
All right,
Doing pretty.
all right,
That's
Keeg.
No.
You've been here your whole life, right? No, because
Yeah,
you didn't you?
since 85. 85. So I was
You've
born
been
in
here
Fort
my whole
Lauderdale.
life.
Yeah, I was born in Fort Lauderdale in 80. I lived in Wales, and then we moved back. And then I was in Arizona, and then 80 after 85 I was here. After that, so I was here for the Challenger, but I was a kid. I was like 6. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I'm
But
not the oldest one. I'm not the oldest one here. Good deal.
so yeah, so I mean, I just grew up around it, and to be honest, when I was a kid, didn't really you see it all the time. No one really paid attention, you know,
Yeah.
going through school. And then when I got into high school and I got into robotics and stuff like that, then because we would take trips out to the Space Center to work with some of the robotics
Hmm.
engineers to help
that's
us with our equipment. And then I really started getting into it again, but not like totally hardcore, but it piqued my interest. Then I would go out and make sure I see all the launches. I saw the last one in 2011 was the last launch. And then,
Yeah. Atlantis. Yeah.
yeah, and then I worked at the visitor center in like 2003 when Columbia disaster happened, when the one that the heat shield was missing and it fell apart.
Yeah.
Um, so I was there for that. Then we got laid off. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Sad
not
times.
many people, not many people go into the visitor center after a disaster like that for
Right.
a while.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, just being around, experiencing that, and it's just all I've for space. I've just always seen it. Just always lived here.
Yeah.
You just go outside and be like, "Hey, look, there's another shuttle. Oh, cool."
And then all of a sudden you're like totally into it.
Yeah, well, I think probably in the last like 5 years, I got way more into it,
Yeah.
especially with the interest from SpaceX and all these companies trying to like revitalize the
Yeah.
space industry.
Yeah.
I mean, they might not have like looked at it like they want to do. They all have a goal,
Right.
but I think for the average person or someone that's somewhat interested, it's just you go, oh, they're someone else besides the government is trying to better
Right.
humanity.
Exactly.
And
Somebody
there's
is
so much that comes from it.
Yeah.
The technology from it and everything. So
Yeah.
it's just,
And then locally the jobs. I mean, the
oh yeah, it's
like
and
especially after shuttle shut down. A lot of those
it,
people ended up going to companies like SpaceX and ULA and,
Yeah.
and everything.
mm-hmm. Well, I went to like ULA because they were still going.
Yeah.
And kind of like
Yeah, they were already well established. Yeah. I mean, I can't remember when ULA. When was ULA started?
That's a good question. I don't know, but all I do know is Tori Bruno is an awesome dude.
Yeah, when did ULA start? Did you? No, I did not mean. Okay, ULA December 1st, 2006. Okay, yeah, so they were already going, and of course Lockheed Martin and Boeing were, they've been around forever. Well, Lockheed Martin 1995, Boeing July 15th. Anybody want to guess what year?
No, they've been around for a minute, man, because they've been making airplanes since like back in the
40s.
day, man.
No, it had to be more than 40s.
1916.
Dang. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
What'd they do? Make bottle rockets?
I don't know. It just tells me when they started. they they bought the Wright brothers.
Yeah. we like the cut of your jib, kids.
Yeah.
We're gonna take that.
Make our planes.
We're gonna take all your rights to that.
All right. Well, so that's cool. Becca.
Hi.
Hello.
How are ya?
I take it you'd like to know why I'm interested.
Yeah.
in
Why
space.
are you into space?
Well, the thing is, I'm really not. I mean, I am, but not in any way to the degree of my peers.
Yeah.
Well,
Currently.
you're learning.
Oh no, that's
right.
not
Yeah.
true at all. I have been into the sky since I was a little child. I've always thought that it was so cool, and I've always been just generally glad that the sky exists and the atmosphere and the things that you can see in the sky.
Air's
And
good.
air is very good. And but the thing that keeps me actually interested in the progress, is I like mysteries. This is more of like my interest is being a detective. I don't actually want to do any of the work. I just want to absorb the information from others. But space is a mystery, a really big one.
Yeah.
And
That's true.
I have always believed that statistically it's impossible that we're alone. And
And Carl
that's-
Sagan goes into that on Cosmos.
Yeah.
that is what I can't wait for that to be proven right by
Yeah.
Right.
people that are smarter than me.
The universe is too big.
Yeah, it's insane, and that is why I'm interested. I just can't wait to see the mysteries revealed. And so I am here to ask all the dumb questions that everybody's too afraid to ask about all these super intelligent things that these guys are going to be talking about.
Hey, if
we're
it
all
wasn't for the
learning
space program, we
together.
wouldn't have Dustbusters.
Is that right?
There's a lot of things that we wouldn't have. Isn't that right?
Yeah. And
That's
Velcro is
true.
not one of them.
Yeah, Velcro's not.
That's
true.
one of those common misconceptions.
Solar cells.
Man, I wish I had a bunch to just pull out right now. I can't. I know that. What is it? MRIs is a spinoff, right? Isn't that one of the things that they got from spaceship? I don't want to talk
Memory
out of
foam.
school. So, yeah, memory
Memory
foam. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
Tempur-Pedic.
Yep.
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 It was
Water filtration. Water filtration. I was just looking at it.
Yep.
That's one.
Drinking your pee all over again.
Might as well.
Get a baby formula is one of them.
Huh.
Hmm.
Interesting.
It is absolutely one of them. Fact checking. Computer mouse.
Mm.
That's one of them.
Really?
Apparently. Comfortable running shoes.
Ah,
That's one of them.
They'd never
Huh.
thought of comfortable running shoes.
Shock absorbent rubber molded to design for astronauts' helmets inspired what has now become the future of the soles in modern athletic shoes.
We got cell phone cameras.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty
I-
much anything that involves like making computery stuff smaller is like thanks to the space program, because they were constantly trying, and still they're constantly trying to make things smaller so that they can take more. Because
Hey, LEDs is what we're looking at on our screens, on our phones,
Oh,
and on our
yeah.
computer monitors.
right,
Yep.
okay.
they're still learning too.
No more tube.
Actually,
All right, well let's talk about some stuff.
Hurricane.
Yeah, let's talk about the hurricane. All right. Well, here on the screen here, you guys.
Because we
can't
all
see.
live here.
Yeah,
so
we all
that's
live
like
here,
a,
and anybody that might have stumbled across this prior to the hurricane showing up might be interested in how Cape Canaveral is going to fare, because there's a lot of infrastructure out there that needs to make it through this.
Yeah, that's right.
And as it
Yes,
is
sir.
right now, I'm just kind of clicking through some of the graphics here, y'all. So I'm looking at the spaghetti models, and from what I've gleaned, it's my new word of the day, is the black line in the middle is like the average, and it as of right now is showing to be a little south of us, south of Cape Canaveral. It's coming in around like Melbourne, or maybe even a little south of that. But this,
Just put it up on the screen.
it could be.
Nah,
Yeah, I can show you guys.
everybody's going to get impacted by this thing.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's a Cat 4 hitting us. Yeah, that thing ain't no joke.
Nasty.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with the map of Florida, the Cape is the little bump that sticks out on the east side of the state, and that's where all the launch pads
Florida's pimple.
are. Yeah, Florida's pimple. And a couple of us live out here on the little barrier island that's just south of the Cape, and one of us lives just inland, and then the other one lives even further inland. But we're all right here, and we're all preparing for ourselves, but we're also concerned. We don't want any of that infrastructure out there to be damaged. And actually they've been preparing. They were debating on whether or not to move that mobile launcher back into the vehicle assembly building. The vehicle assembly building, if you don't know, is that huge block of a building where they used to piece together the space shuttle, and also the Saturn V, which sent the astronauts to the moon. And the mobile launcher it's this platform that they roll out to the launch pad with the rocket on top of the, help me out, what's it called? The thing that takes it out there.
Crawler.
The
The
crawler.
mobile
Yeah,
crawler.
the crawler, yeah. Yeah, because the mobile launcher sits on top of the crawler, and then the crawler carries it out there, and then the crawler retreats away before launch, right?
Yeah.
So the
That's what
mobile...
they do with the shuttle, too.
Right, yeah, exactly. So the mobile launcher has actually been out there on pad 39B, which is the northernmost launch pad at it's actually in Kennedy Space Center grounds. The two pads at Kennedy Space Center are 39A and 39B. And then all the other pads, if you ever hear, SLC 40 or 41 or 37, all of those are Air Force grounds. Doesn't really matter, but it's been sitting out there on the pad, and they've been running these checks because they're getting ready for the SLS and the Artemis program. They want to send humans back to Mars by 2024. So they've been doing all these tests, and now with the hurricane coming, they decided to go ahead and roll it all the way back to the VAB, which takes basically all day, right?
Yeah.
Like the crawler moves at a mile per hour, and it's like 3.5 miles to 39A, and then it's like a little bit further to 39B, and so it takes half a day, I guess, to roll it out there. But there's all these preparations and things, and then they got to get it ready and then move it back, and so that's what they've been working on now. And I'm not sure if it's back into the VAB just yet, but it will be soon.
I've been trying to find that information all day.
Yeah, there's been several reporters that have been covering it, but I actually haven't been on it in the last couple hours. So yeah, lots of preparations going on. Obviously, the biggest concern is that everybody stay safe. Get your water. Get your batteries.
I got water and gas.
Decide if you're gonna evacuate to your buddy Kegel's house or not.
Or not.
Or not.
My boards are going up Saturday.
Does that mean we can't get in?
Yeah.
Once the boards are up, like, nope, sorry guys, you missed your
Nope.
chance.
Nope.
Access denied.
Yeah. No, we actually had a good time over at Kegel's for Irma. We were out there a couple of years ago, and we had
Yeah, that was nothing.
it
That
was like nothing.
like 60-mile-per-hour wind. So
Yeah.
it was still interesting, though. I mean, things were falling off the oak tree. That's gone now, so don't have to worry about that hitting the house anymore.
That's great news.
Yeah, there was a
clear.
statement. ULA made a statement. They said all ULA facilities are designed to withstand hurricane force winds. Those design loads vary relative to the facility and the time frame in which it was designed. The majority of our launch facilities have been designed for wind speeds of 130 miles per hour or higher. Our design processes include additional factors on top of those wind loads, such that we would expect our systems to be likely capable of withstanding higher winds without suffering major damage. And one of those things happens to be the mobile service tower, which they just used recently in their Delta launch. I'm showing it on the screen now, and it's this huge building that's like around the rocket. That thing actually slides backwards. That's why it's called the mobile service tower. Whenever it gets close to launch, that thing will actually move very slowly away from the rocket. All these things here, these arms and stuff, those will stay there, but that big structure slides away.
It doesn't show it on the screen.
I'm showing it on my screen. I mean,
I mean, we were talking about it, but it wasn't on there.
Well, I guess I can show you guys. It's just sometimes I need to show you, sometimes I don't.
Well,
So
if you're talking about it, you should show it.
So it's I'm not always trying to explain things to you. I'm trying to explain.
Well, if someone's watching, they don't know. They've got the
They
video,
do because they see it.
What is he talking about?
I don't have to share my
Yeah.
screen to you for them to see it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought I was seeing what was live. I don't know.
Oh no! You're just looking at your Hangout screen. I've got other stuff going on my screen.
All right,
all this
okay,
stuff,
all right.
all this stuff here. This is always here.
All right, disregard anything I said.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
But it is
technology.
good. It's good to show you guys what I'm talking about. I understand.
Well,
So this
I knew,
this
but
is the
yeah.
thing that they were referring to. Let's see, what was it? They mention it in here somewhere, but I can't seem to find it. Because I thought they had a specific, maybe it was in, yeah, okay. Chris G, he's one of the reporters out here for NASA Spaceflight. He made a long tweet about this. Okay, for instance, the SLC-41 VIF, Vertical Integration Facility, and CAT, I don't know what that stands for, were designed originally to withstand winds of 135, while the Slick 37 MST, which is what we're talking about, was designed to handle 140 miles per hour. So it's probably okay. 140 mile an hour, that's pretty fast, provided we don't get that direct hit. Which
If we get direct hit, we're screwed.
Yeah, I hope we don't. So yeah, that's the hurricane. What are you doing, Matt? Are you just hunkering down where you're at? I guess you're kind of safely inland, right?
Yeah, I'm inland, man. I'm Orlando, so I mean, well, yeah, about an hour from it. Takes me about an hour to get over to the Space Coast. So
Yeah.
yeah, we're pretty much just hunkering down, man. We were here for Irma, and actually, I've been through quite a few hurricanes since I've been here. So
Yeah.
Yeah, but you never been through one that's going to come in as a Cat 4.
yeah, that's true.
I've never even been. That's like,
That's gonna be pretty insane, man. Golly.
well, when they hit Panama area or in the Panhandle, not Panama, in the Panhandle, that was a 3, and especially anything like where those two are at on the beach,
God.
demolished.
And we're
They-
still like, I don't know. Do we want to leave?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I still want to stay. There's nothing you can say that's going to scare me.
I
If you
did.
want to, you should look at photos and people that worked out there.
Google the photos.
Oh, I mean, just sticks from the buildings, just everything blown over.
Well, my
you do
building's
not want to be that
made
close.
of concrete.
Yeah, but I'll bring up photos in your free time. Go look at that from last year and see how bad.
2x4 in the walls and everything.
Yeah, everything just got blown over. You get 130 mile per hour winds. I mean, even both the buildings you guys are in, they're built in the 60s, 70s.
Yeah,
weren't
and
even
they're
up-
still around.
Yeah, they're still here.
Well, because we've never. The last time this place has actually had a real direct hit was like early 70s, and that's it. That's the only time we've ever had more than a Cat 3 that's hit Brevard County. So there's nothing been. All these other ones have been little weaky ones. So it's just a lot of rain.
Weak boys.
You and your saying things.
Nah, I'm just saying. Yeah, you look it up.
I don't know. I'm looking at these pictures. I'm seeing an awful lot of like broken wooden homes, and I'm seeing an awful lot of still standing concrete homes.
Yeah, but guess what your roof is?
Gonna be fine.
It's wood.
Guarantee.
Your roof's made of wood.
Promise it's gonna be fine.
We have a
gonna
we
be
have
Stevo's
a,
apartment already had the roof ripped off.
we have a new roof.
But the old one
Yeah,
ripped
it's not
off.
going anywhere. It's brand new.
It's brand new.
I think on the coast, it's more flooding is more of the concern than anything.
The surge.
Yeah, the surge is ridiculous. How it just takes all the water and just kind of like takes it all back, and then it just comes flooding all back at you.
Yeah.
That sounds cool.
Nah, not really. 'Cause
You guys will be floating up to my front yard one day.
We're on the second floor.
It's like Monday.
you guys have a boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well,
I think it was Irma actually, where the bay or whatever was completely, there was no water at all. The water was all sucked up from the hurricane, and then it came coming back tenfold. It was ridiculous, and that's when all the flooding and everything happened.
I'd like to see that in person.
Yeah.
I don't think I
I know,
can,
that's-
but I would like
Like
to.
a split second, it would probably be cool, but then when that water starts coming back, like, time to go.
How fast can you run?
All right.
Well, if the wind's helping you, how fast is the wind going? 130. It's helping you along.
it's the same reason we launched to the east. Because
All
the
right.
Earth is already spinning. It gives you a boost.
A little bit of a boost.
Well, we've still got a couple days to see what it's going to do and make our decisions. We've already got our preparations, so we've got everything we need. We just we'll see what we're going to do.
I was saying, I live right next to the Cocoa site for the Starship.
Yeah,
build.
that thing's coming.
SpaceX?
That thing's coming right through your window.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If they don't put it in that building,
They're
they built,
doing
which
it.
even and strap that thing down, it will be in my yard. I'll be like, hey, cool. I can play around inside of it, I guess.
So what are
Until
they
can
doing with all
drag it
those
away.
rings? So the individual rings that they have on the ground, or have they started
Mm.
collecting those up?
Yeah, we don't
No,
know.
No one's got an aerial shot yet.
Not in,
Man.
yeah. Well, I think like a day or two ago, somebody had an aerial shot, but we don't know yet. There was some discussion. I think Julia, she's a local around here, y'all, and she keeps track of stuff going on in the port. But she's been around here for a long time, knows a lot about the history. But yeah, they were discussing that. Like, well, what would they do? Well, they might just pick them up and move them over into a hangar, over at the Cape or,
Yeah, 'cause
or
they got-
something.
Well, they got that big storage area.
Yeah, that big
I mean,
warehouse
since they
thing.
bought the property. They can. I don't know what else is in there. It might be taking up room. But
Right, yeah, they may not have room. Yeah, so there's a hurricane coming. Cool. I wanted to bring this up, even though now it's, what is this, like a month old? When did I take this picture? August 10th. Okay, so it's not quite a month old. But if you guys remember, SpaceX has now successfely caught 2 fairings on
yay!
the ship Go Miss Tree, or I've heard from a reliable source that the crew, they do call them Mystery and Mischief. That's how
Nice.
they pronounce it. Everybody keeps wanting to say Mischief, and by everyone I mean me. I keep saying Mischief, but apparently the captains, or I don't know, the other crew on the boat, they actually do say Mischief and Mystery. But yeah, so Mystery, formerly known as Mr. Steven, managed to
Were
catch.
you mad when they changed it?
No, I don't care. I was actually glad that that the controversy over the gender was finally
Wow.
decided, because it was like, yeah, I know that boats are traditionally referred to as she's, and spacecraft too. It's always a she. Curiosity is a she. But when it's called Mr. Steven, I have a hard time, saying she, Mr. Steven. But
What was the background why he called him Mr. Steven? He's always got some kind of reference to something.
the guy that owned it previously named it after his dad.
Oh, so he just
So
he
whenever
didn't-
they sold it to Go, which is Geo stands for Geis Offshore. It's just the company that leases all of these ships, all the different support. You got Go Quest, Go Searcher, Go Navigator, Well, there was one that used to be a part of it, but isn't anymore. Started with a P, something. Anyway, they own these ships. They just lease them to SpaceX. So I guess they figured, well, if we're buying this ship, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to keep it named Mr. Steven when it's named after the previous owner's dad. So let's change the name. And in typical SpaceX/Elon fashion, they went with a clever name. First was Miss Tree, and then now Miss Chief.
For comic books, right? Comic book character?
Yeah, I don't know if it was actually meant to be a reference, because so somebody brought up that there's this comic book character Miss Tree, and it was supposed to be a play on words. So I don't know if that's actually a reference to that, or if that's just a clever name.
So here's a good question for people who are probably going to be listening to this, and they're going to be asking themselves, well, you have SpaceX, who's a company who's, multi-million-dollar company. Why are they leasing these ships and not buying them?
And I have to first say, I don't know. But if I was to guess, it would be that it's easier to lease these from a company that is going to take care of all the maintenance, cleaning off barnacles, kind of stuff that they don't necessarily want to.
Hiring their own crew.
Yeah.
They don't have to deal with that.
I'm sure it would be cheaper to just own these boats themselves, but then they would have to hire SpaceX employees just to do that, and that's not what SpaceX is about. They're about building rockets.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. And maybe at some point they'll just be like, we're just going to buy all these boats.
We're not. They're not like Branson, where he's got a cruise line, space program.
And maybe actually, maybe because there might come a day that they don't need a boat or two. Like the one. It was Go Pursuit. That was it. Go Pursuit used to be a part of the SpaceX fleet, and now there's just Go Pursuit isn't around anymore. And I guess they just decided, okay, well, we don't need this anymore. So it's not just an extra boat for SpaceX to have on their hands. They're just like, they tell guys offshores, they're like, well, we don't need that boat anymore. All right, well, we'll find something else to do with it. And then it's, SpaceX can just be like done with it.
So did they ever figure out? Did they ever figure out where the fleet went to since they were evacuating for the hurricane?
As far as I know, they went to. Well, here I've got.
I know they went up north, but I'm
pretty sure it was Jacksonville. Let me do SpaceX fleet.
Because that is the next big port in Florida. Would be Jacksonville.
Yeah, and that's probably far enough north that.
If it stays in its current path, yeah.
Let's see. SpaceX fleet is approaching the mouth of the St. Johns River. They will travel down it to the moorings of the Green Cove Springs. The area here is more protected from the storm surges, but if the predictions are correct, they will still experience some serious weather. So where is that? St. Johns River at Mayport? This is a screenshot of a map, so I can't just zoom out of it. Where is Mayport? Let's Google Mayport, Florida.
I wonder if that's by the Panhandle. Let's see.
Yeah, let's just look at this map right here. Oh, yeah. Zooming out. Oh, yeah, it's up by Jacksonville.
Oh, it's a naval station.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so they went up to Jacksonville, whichever ones are here, and makes sense. Get out of the path.
Yeah, it makes sense, doesn't it?
It sure does.
Get out of the
Get out of the path.
Yeah. You don't want to.
You don't want to be there. Why do we want to be there?
Man.
Well,
you guys.
Yeah, but if you really think about it, though, I mean, they're not really. If you really look at the map, they haven't really gone that too much far.
Yeah, and if the
what I mean?
If the predictions change, they may have to move even further, which they can. That's a nice thing about being a boat.
Time.
You just
As long as moving at 13 miles per hour. I get that.
Well, I know Mystery and Mischief can move very quick.
Oh, yeah.
They are
Yeah, they're
very
quick.
fast.
They are very fast. I've seen those boats move.
Man, there was one time. It was when, well, back when it was referred to as Mr. Steven, when they were moving it from L.A. over to here. It was like a big deal, get the first shot, and so I was up and went up to Jetty Park to get that first shot, and I thought that I was gonna run out on the beach and try to, get some nice foreground with the pier in the way and stuff, and I heard this sound. And I had checked the map. I had checked the marine traffic, and I was like, okay, well, and I guess I'm just used to how slowly the drone ship comes in. Of course, I still love you. And I was like, yeah, I got plenty of time. And by the time I got out to the beach, I could hear this. It sounded like engines running, but I could barely see it. And I realized that was Mr. Steven coming in, and it was moving so fast. And
So
then
here you go.
uh,
This is mystery. Top speed's 37 miles per hour.
37, and I guess, I mean, that's fast for a boat of that size, right?
Oh yeah, that's a good sized boat. Yeah.
And then I ended up like literally running off the beach and over to the grassy area. And I know a lot of people watching this might not know where I'm talking. Actually, I can show you. I ran over to the grassy area right before the pier and got some decent shots there. Of course, it was dark. There was no moon. It was very difficult. But it was one of those first shot things. You want to get something. So because there was nobody out there. I expected to see all the usual suspects. Like Greg and Julia and stuff. But yeah, if you're watching on the stream, which that's really the only way to watch right now. I went from the beach over to this area here and was able to get some shots. But yeah, that thing moves so fast, and it can like rotate and like shift. I guess a lot of these bigger boats can do that, but not as fast as these guys can.
Oh, I guess they would have to if they were trying to, recover fairings.
Right?
Yeah.
And
They would have to be.
I still want to know, like, what's the level of automation with that? Because I was reading Twitter and some people were talking as if it was just understood that it's automated. Like the captain leaves the boat and then the boat pilots itself.
Oh,
So
I doubt it.
yeah,
it seems like no, but then again, the drone ship is a drone ship now, but the drone ship's not like moving around. It's only station keeping. Like it they put it in the GPS coordinates where it's supposed to be, and it just keeps itself there. Would they really have an unpiloted ship out there of that size? I don't
think it could react quick enough. And
automated. I think automated would be better than a human.
Yeah, but I mean, where's it going to get data from?
From the fairing.
Yeah, but what if there's interruptions in the data and all that?
I mean,
do you think it can't be a constant great connection?
You think you think the pilots or the captains like
I think
eyeballing
they
it?
probably just go visual. They probably got equipment to visually look at it.
Yeah, they have to.
I want to find this out.
Yeah, there's no danger. And it's not like a booster landing. There's no danger.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it does come down pretty softly. But if
Parachute.
it's not gonna crash through the cabin of the boat.
Yeah, it's parachuted, so
Yeah,
it's coming down fairly slowly.
There's no danger.
yeah.
None.
Well, there's danger of like knocking out all of its radar stuff and antennas on the top.
Yeah.
You know,
If
But-
there wasn't a net, I'm sure it would squish you when it fell.
Yeah, it's a pretty big size.
I'm sure it weighs a decent
Yeah,
amount.
how big is that thing?
the fairing.
Yeah.
It's a 5-meter fairing, right? So they're 5 meters.
Dang old 5-meter fairing.
That's a dang old.
How much does it weigh?
3.
Three
Three
dang
what?
old threes.
3 dang.
So
3 stone.
3 stone. Okay, so something that weighs 3 stone and is 5 meters long.
No, 5
You're
meters
telling me-
wide. It's 5 meters
meters.
wide, and I'm not sure how long.
Trying to bring that
Nothing
up.
but
You
the
tell me
facts here
there's-
on Pressing for Flight.
You tell me there's no danger of that hurting anything, no matter how slow it's moving?
Well, that's why they have
Yeah,
the
they-
giant nets.
Yeah, I'm going to try to look into this, and maybe we can have a little more information for the next show. But I think that it is automated.
Yeah.
So the fairing is 43 feet long,
Okay.
17 feet in diameter, and weighs approximately 1,900 kilograms. I don't know what that is.
That's pretty heavy.
Yeah. So whatever. That's still that's a big, gigantic thing falling at
That's
you.
a big old boy.
even if it is cruising at.
Yeah,
Like
it
that
always
with the
looks so delicate. You know, you see the videos, and I should, totally be showing a video of it.
Wow. That's 4,100 pounds.
It's over
yeah.
2
So
tons.
that is That's like 2
Dang.
Toyota Corollas falling on you, or 4 Toyota Corollas falling on you.
Dang.
2 Toyota. You're telling me there's no danger with 2
Nope.
Toyota Corollas falling on you
That might be a little
very
bit
slowly?
on there. That's a lot of weight.
Yeah. So there's danger.
Danger, Will Robinson.
Yeah. That's the alarm that goes off when something fails on there.
Relevant.
So now that is a very good point. So now it's something we should probably look into to see if we
should.
can answer that. Because now I'm intrigued.
Here, let's.
Can you just Google, is there any danger involved?
In catching fairings.
Right. I was on the assumption that
There you
somebody a pilot. So yeah. See, there we go.
See that just looks so safe.
Other than it's 4,000
And the entire boat tips over.
40, right? 4,100 pounds. Just slowly drifting.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I'm kind of going off of just like a conversation that was happening, so it's better to just say I don't know. But my assumption is if I was a betting man, I would think that they do get the crew off the boat. That's just my guess.
Yeah, that's a good guess. Good bet. I'll place bets on that.
So since they were able to do that a couple of times, they went ahead and got that other boat. That's
so
what we were
terminal-
talking about.
So someone on Wired, they did a little thing. It says terminal velocity of it falling is 45 miles per hour.
That ain't slow.
No,
Not for
it ain't.
2 Toyota Corolla.
No.
No, it ain't.
It's a very modest, not modest. What's the word I'm trying? It's modest, I think, is the word I'm looking for. It's a modest pace for 2 Toyota Corollas to land on you.
Yeah.
There's danger.
Yeah, I think there is danger. Yeah, I'd like to see it crash into the cabin just to see what it would do.
Well, they better be fully automated for that.
That's what I'm saying. Like if that were to happen, I mean, so far the videos that we've seen, it's aired towards the side of the back of the boat, and it didn't look like there was much danger of it running into the cabin, but it's still possible.
Yeah. Start crunching the numbers. Yeah, there's definitely danger there.
Yeah, we proved it in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
We crunched all the numbers.
It sounds bad.
There's danger. There's danger.
All right. Speaking of danger, let's move on to the Starhopper. No danger there, except that the sheriff hand-delivered these notices that there was going to be the possibility of an overpressure event.
How awesome is that?
I know.
In other words, you mean explode?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? How awesome is that? What is that knock at the door? Oh, it's just going to be a hopper test. That's all.
Yeah. And I think most of the locals were okay with it, but there was that one article that came out, and they interviewed that one woman that she was not very happy about it because she went there for peace and quiet. And I guess I can kind of understand that because she wasn't the one that gave the stamp of approval for them to start building and testing over there, but her elected officials were.
Imagine the people that lived on the edge of Disney property.
Yeah,
back,
right.
like
Or the people
40s.
that used to live out on Merritt Island before the Space Center was there.
Yeah.
They got kicked out.
I mean, those are swamp people. That's all that was there. There wasn't even a bridge going over there.
Okay, yeah. Well, they're swamp people.
They had to take a boat back and forth.
Money talks.
Like, oh, they had to take a boat. Well, so they're not worth it. Anyway, so
Like 3 people.
as if you haven't seen this video, we're gonna go ahead and show it. I guess I'll let you guys see it too.
Oh, thank
thanks.
you.
because this was pretty awesome.
Look at that green cloud.
The what?
Green cloud.
Oh.
Or it always reminds me of, like, Buck Rogers. Like,
Yeah, that design.
yeah,
Like with like the
what the 50s thought we'd be doing in the future, and here we are building it now.
yeah, like the fins that serve as landing
Yeah.
legs. I love it.
Yeah.
I do really wish that it could have still had the top, the cone on top. You know, it
Yeah.
would have looked
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, like it doesn't look cool already, but
Why did it get so yellow? The flame changed when it came down. Was this because of burning off of?
well,
Dust,
Bad?
actually. Dust.
Was dust burning in it?
Yeah.
Well,
Somebody asked that question
Scott
on Twitter.
Manley said that, and then he actually posted a video last night going back on what he said. Like he said that this is what this is what I thought. And after, it was the persistence of others that were like, no, look at this. Now look at this. Look at this frame. This is when the yellow part starts, and it goes all the way up to the nozzle. And I don't remember. It was one of those videos that, you know, where Scott Manley gets very technical and stuff, and I'm not sure I grasped it all, but I highly recommend watching that, and I'm probably going to watch it again too, because I was wondering the same thing. You know, I watched that video over and over, and I was like I thought, you know, it maybe had something to do with, you know, the plume interacting with the ground and getting like a back pressure thing happening, you know, or they like throttled up right then, or, you know, and it made it look yellow. But he was saying that he thinks it's possible that not everything went according to plan with that, and it actually did come down a little hard because it's missing its feet, right?
Yeah, you got a little squish.
Like and one of its feet is sitting right there. There used to be a little bit more on the ends of these feet here, and so it came down a little harder than planned. I don't, you know, it's not like nailing the coffin for Starship or anything, but you know, it's a test.
Hey,
and
it didn't
things
blow out
happen.
windows. That's an improvement.
Yeah, it didn't blow out windows, and it didn't blow up.
Yeah.
Yeah, for all intents and purposes, it was a successful
success.
test. I
Definitely.
mean, even if it blew up, it'd still be a successful test. They successfully tested it.
Well, like they tried the day before, but with the igniters didn't work.
Yeah, it was. Somebody had mentioned something on Twitter about how some wires, you know, some wires were corroded or disconnected or something, and he responded with like, yeah, it was actually kind of embarrassing.
Someone like reversed the polarities or something.
It could have been that, or it could have been like installed improperly, or maybe it was just like corrosion from from like the environment that they're in. You know, it's a similar environment to this because, you know, they're right by the ocean.
Yeah.
It could easily just be corrosion, you know, because it is a test thing. You know, maybe they just was like, yeah, it should still be fine, using the same wires. I mean, who knows? Like nobody gets that level of detail from SpaceX. You know, like they're pretty good about letting everybody know what's going on, but not to that degree, and for good reason. I wouldn't expect them to tell us what wires were replaced.
Even when they successfully do something, they still don't say a lot.
Wait, hold on. I know this is totally off topic, but I'm sitting there going through the Twitter right now. Did you guys know that there was a Falcon 9 booster static fire today in Texas?
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah, they tested out the one that's gonna carry astronauts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
good deal.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So what? So it's not a Raptor then? What was it?
No, it's Falcon 9.
It's Falcon 9, yeah.
Oh, so they're just testing.
deal.
That's the one that they're okay.
Yeah, they do that with every booster, by the way. Every booster passes through McGregor and is test fired before it comes here, or goes
Whole
back
new
to.
setup.
Huh?
Okay, it's just because it's a whole new setup, so it's all be tested out there.
Well, it's every booster, no matter what.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't. You mean just like a whole new rocket? Yeah. like.
Yeah, it's all new equipment, so they got tested.
Yeah, they always test
when
fire.
they build it, they test it, and then okay.
Yeah, they test fire every engine, and then they test fire them all together. I'm not sure if they do a full duration test fire with every booster, but I think they do. I think is Matt, that picture that you're looking at.
Yeah.
Wait, where would I go to pull that up? I know it's on Twitter.
That was
who's
that's actually that's SpaceX posted it. Sorry,
that's right.
Yeah, I'm going over all my feed and stuff now. I've been at work all day, so I get a chance to. Actually, quite a few people have posted on it. Jamie has, SpaceX has, Ryan has, John has, Michael has.
All right, so just kind of a neat little tidbit. If you ever see a picture of a Falcon 9 being tested, and it, come here, I'm trying to share the screen for you guys.
Yeah, there it is.
And it has this cap on it with the wires going down. They are doing a full duration.
Okay.
Okay, because of course the Falcon 9 boosters, they have the hold down clamps at the bottom, right?
Right.
The reason they have this cap up there is because as they fire it for the full duration, the fuel depletes and it becomes a much lighter rocket. So much lighter that the hold down clamps might not have enough strength to hold it down. So they strap it down from the top as well to provide extra strength to keep it held down, because the fuel could be down down around here about quarter tank, and it might be getting to the point where it's so light that it could lift off, right? Because they're as the engines fire, they're just burning through fuel, and but when it's full, it's a much heavier rocket. So as that fuel is depleted, they need to make sure they have extra hold downs, and those hold downs are applied to the top of the rocket.
Man, SpaceX is so busy. I don't know how to keep up.
They've done a great job, that's for sure.
Yeah. So anything else we want to talk about? We're going on about an hour here.
Not talking over right now. Covered the storm, Hopper.
All right. Well, I think this has been a pretty good first episode.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for being here. Thanks anybody that might stumble across this first episode later on.
I'm working out the kinks.
Yeah. Follow us on Twitter at pressing4flight, because if you spelled it out, it'd be too long.
Stupid.
Ding. Yeah, this is the Space Coast, where the schedule never holds. Goodbye.